a trip to Karuizawa in the winter. Karuizawa is 70 minutes from Tokyo by Shinkansen, a tourist area with very easy access. In winter, Karuizawa has many activities in which you can casually enjoy the abundance of nature. There are also romantic lights in various areas of the town. There are many spots you will want to upload to the SNS. Come and have experiences you can only get in Karuizawa during the winter.
こういった選手紹介すると気持ちも入りますかね、選手の皆さんは。
そうですね。こう
And
やっ
a
て
very good
紹
morning
介
to
してい
you
ただける
from
と、い
Miyota,
よいよ
Japan.
大会が始ま
And
ったなとい
welcome
う気分にな
wherever
り
in the
ますの
world you're
で、
joining us.
少し緊
Hope
張
you've had
も
a
始まるか
wonderful
もしれませ
holiday
んね。
season
は
and
い
you're getting ready for
今大会は
a
10チーム参
fantastic
加、
new
まず
year.
は
And
グル
New
ープ A と
Year
グル
is,
ー
of
プ
course,
B に
what
分
is
かれ
all
て、
about
それ
here
ぞれ
at the
予選を
World
行い
Curling
まして、
Tour
上位
Japan.
2チームが
New Year's
準決勝に
curling
進出
medalist
していく
curling.
ということになります。
Fantastic event.
シートでは A と
And
B、まずは
we've
グ
got
ル
a
ープ A
great
の
game
チーム
for
が
you today.
ゲームを行うということになっており
Seungyoun
ます。お
Ha
送りするの
of
は
Korea, one of
シ
two
ート B
international
のゲー
teams
ム、
competing,
先ほど選
are
手紹
taking
介
on
の
Miori
ご覧いただき
Nakamura
ましたが、チームハ
of Aomori in Japan.
ヒロシーク青森チーム中村
Team's going through some final pre-game preparations here in this lovely little three-sheet curling facility in Miyota, one of the first curling halls in Japan. It was built in the lead up to the Nagano Olympic Games in 1998. And it's a real community effort here in Miyota. Team Ha playing the Red Stones. Team Nakamura playing the Yellowstones. Sujin Kim gets it underway. So last rock in the first end for Team Nakamura. Yori Ichinohe getting ready in the hack to deliver her first stone of the match. It's a great little setup that they have here in Miyota. As we mentioned, it's a three-sheet curling facility, but we can see in the background, takeout attempt goes flashing by that stone of Ha, so good early chance here for the Korean foursome to set a guard and maybe set up a steal here in the first end. But there you see on the right-hand side of the screen, spectators right up close and personal, enjoying the athletes. 10 women's teams competing in this event. It will run right through the weekend. We're divided up into two pools of 5 teams, and they will play a round robin. Top 2 from each pool will advance into the semifinal games. That stone coming to rest just short of the rings. Nakamura going to have a look, making sure it is in fact in the free guard zone. But a great little New Year's tradition building up here in Miyota. Tournament begins as we wave farewell to 2023. And it will conclude as we greet the new year in 2024. Quiet weight come around attempt is just going to bump that front guard stone and push it onto the rings. Leaves Team Ha line 2. Nakamura does have last rock. Just about 4.5 feet of ice being given by Seungyoun Ha for Tai Yang. Hyorin Kim and Sujin Kim brushing it pretty much coast to coast. It's by the guard and it's going to come to rest. Well, not quite biting the 4-foot circle. Would have liked that maybe another foot or two deeper. Now the yellow run back is on for Nakamura, and the way that they're angled, straight run back, could conceivably make a double takeout and leave a Yellowstone under cover. Now it looks like they're just going to deal with the red stones and leave their own stone there for later. Haruka Kihara. This team from Aomori. I've had the pleasure of curling in Aomori. They have a beautiful facility up there in the north end of Honshu. Makes the hit, rolls away, stays just off the rings, but those are both two usable stones for Nakamura. So even though Team Ha's line 2, there is some danger in front. Very good situation to try and set up a force. See the time clocks in the background. And of course, the amount of thinking time each team consuming. 8 end games here in Miyota. Tai Yang gets a chance to throw another draw, coming down the outturn side this time. Outturn for the right-hander. I'm still a bit old school. Turn outturn instead of clockwise and counterclockwise. I can never quite figure out which way the clock is spinning. And that one fully on the button. And Team Ha lies 3. Setting up a very good chance for a force and really setting up for a steal here. Big shot coming up for Team Nakamura. You can see just about, 3/4, let's say. Kihara. I'm waiting a long time on this one. Now they're giving it a brush. Oh my goodness. Left that one a little bit too late. Pinballs around, moves stones. Leaves all 3 red stones in the rings. Does leave themselves second shot, front forefoot, and it does also creep another yellow stone on the front ring. Hard to say whose fourth shot, but that yellow stone just delivered by Kiara is wide open. So a good chance for Hye-Rin Kim, playing a third stone, to make a hit and maybe get a little bit of a flop and duck under some cover. Play control weight, she's indicating she's a little bit wide. Yang sweeping for curl. Gets it to nose, so they avoid the jam, but they do leave themselves sitting in the open. Would have liked that inside roll, didn't get it, but they are now lying at least 3, maybe 4. So now the gears shift a little bit. Is Miori Nakamura, the skip, but delivering third stones, heads down to the delivery end to try and rearrange things here a bit. Trying to run her own stone straight back into the pile and mess things up a little bit. There's the hit, there's the run. Gets 2 red stones moving. Pushes at least one of them out of the rings. Other one goes back 12 into third shot position. So that improves things a little bit for Team Nakamura, but still a very good chance here for Seungyoun to remove that stone, and still lots of places to roll for cover here. Hye-Rin Kim and Tae Yang. Curling fans will remember they were members of Team Kim Min-ji. Min-ji went to join Team Gim this year. There's a good hit and a little inside roll. Leave themselves lying 3, but very, very makeable double here for Team Nakamura. Looks to me like they can get inside contact, get rid of 2, and maybe even flop behind the corner guard. Stones in motion. Well, that one skates wide, does get 2 stones in motion the hard way, catches it thin. Pushes the red stones back into the 12-foot, so that does massively reduce the risk of a steal, but it also massively increases the chance of a force. Those stones are widely scattered around the 12-foot circle, and it's really a free shot now here for Seungyoun. She's already seen this path. Tae Yang threw down this path a few stones ago. Just like a piece of the button, fully behind that center guard. First end of play, 8 end game. World Curling Tour Japan, New Year Curling here in Miyota, Japan. First draw of the day, and we are glad that you're with us wherever in the world you're joining us. Early Friday morning in Miyota. Seungyoun on her in turn. All hands on deck to give it a brush. It's by the guard, but they want this one deep to get some bury if they can get it. They bring it, biting just the front 8-foot. Great line. Just needed about 4 feet of weight. And so here's the chance for Misaki Tanaka to maybe bail her team out. If she can make a great come around, hide behind cover, those two front guards are overlapped in the center and could set up the legendary skipper's pair. Tough shot to have to throw in the first end, though. The good news is they do have last rock. So this is a bit of a chance for her to dial in draw weight. Kihara Ichinohe on the brushing. Great line again. This is going to come up light, though. Perfect line, but just needed about 10 feet of weight. So now the advantage pendulum swings back to Team Ha. First call was a bit of an angle tap on that stone biting front 8. Teams coming in to have a bit of a discussion on this. Everybody seems to like the angle tap. Hei-Rin Kim doing a little tidying up work in the 4-foot circle. That tells us the path that they would like that rock to go. So terrific chance to set up a steal here. Really no path on the outturn side into the 4-foot. They would have to play some kind of a pretty difficult raise. Weight communication, really important all the time, of course, but particularly so in the first end when you're still going down some new paths. So coming down the in-turn side, Seungyoun was just taking a little extra second there, speaking with Tae and Sujin. Just saying, is the weight the same on this side? Well, this one's got a problem with line. It's over curling. It's actually going to promote the Nakamura stone into the 12-foot. Outcounts one of the back stones. So, well, all of a sudden, there's a long but makeable double takeout here for 2. That's a big error there from Seungyoun Ha. From going from a dominant position to maybe giving your opponent a chance to come out of this end with a double takeout and score a pair. Pretty sure that if she gets contact either on nose or across nose, she'll outcount that stone in the back 12-foot. We'll find out. Here it comes. Last rock of end number 1 on its way for Misaki Tanaka, the 4th stone thrower for Team Nakamura. Catches it thin, pushes it out. It's going to spill and spill all the way to the edge of the 12-foot. So this looks like a steal of at least 1. They're going to look at it. Who is second shot? It's going to be at least 1 for Team Ha. Look to me like they agreed to 2, but we'll wait for that score to come onto the scoreboard to confirm it. But it is Team Ha with the early advantage. We're just waiting for them to clear the stones away. Yes, the end is complete. We can see the 2 on the board. So it is a steal of 2 in the first end for Team Ha from Korea.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Goldline's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And is the choice of champions.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
And number 2 is underway. We are in Miyota at the Miyota New Year's Medalist Curling. Curling community here in Miyota trying to build up a New Year's curling tradition here, and it's a fantastic community event. 10 women's teams are competing. 2 international teams among those 10 teams, and this is one of those international teams. Team Seungyoun of Korea from Chuncheon. Sujin Kim. Corner guard up from Ichinoe. Two into the 4-foot for Team Ha. Very nice stones from Sujin Kim. It's often the strategy we see. As a very good curling coach told our team early in our careers, when you've got a lead, very difficult for your opponent to ignore 2 stones in the 4-foot. Michinohe hits the top stone, gets a lovely roll off to the wing. Taking the play towards that corner guard. It does pop out the other side, so we can see Ha tapping her hip, saying to Tae Yang, just give me board weight here. Going out to a newer path. This is the first draw of the competition, so although the teams have had chances to practice, they're still getting a bit of a feel for how much curl there is on different parts of the sheet. Tae Yang looks on intently. And that one is going to clip the corner guard and spill to the boards. So the corner guard does its job. Moves across the other side of the center line, so it is still potentially usable as a corner guard for Team Nakamura if they can make the hit here and get a little bit of flop to the left as we look at it. That would set their end up nicely. Dropped a 2 in the first on a steal. Looking to get that back here with last rock in the second. Haruka Kihara lines it up. Removes the Team Ha stone. Rolls towards her own shot. I think they would have been looking for a roll the other way, but they are lying to. One stone in the house, belonging to Team Ha. Miori Nakamura making a play at that stone. Actually, apologies. Looks like she's attempting a come around that corner guard, but this one looks a little hot. This one is going to slide deep, and it is going to slide all the way through the rings. Well, might just cling onto the back 12 foot. It does, and that's important. That could be a counter. By staying in the rings, they're going to force Team Ha to deal with it somehow. Question is how. Simplest play is hit it, but you can see it's pretty well hidden. 2/3 hidden. Not the easiest play. These teams getting so skilled at throwing board weight and using the brushing to control it, though. No hesitation. Calling Haerin Kim to play that intern bump weight, but teammates are pounding this one. That's going to be well clear of the guard. Is it going to go by everything? Yes, it does. No contact at the back. So great chance now. And interesting call here. Nakamura is going to try to duck another one behind that corner and set up a 3. I do like this call. Really does increase the pressure if you make it. And she has just thrown right down this exact path. Kihara Nichinoi. Last stone slid all the way to the back 12. This one is gliding as well. This is going to go deep. It's going to come to rest just past the tee line. If you're going to nitpick 2 feet heavier than they wanted, it does leave Team Ha an outshot here if they do like to freeze, but judging by the brush position, that doesn't look like a freeze to me. Looks like they're going to make a play at it to bump it out of the rings. See, maybe a quarter hidden behind the guard. Pretty good weight. Not a ton of curl. As we saw on that last stone from Haerin Kim. You step the weight up a little bit, it might just run on you. So Seungyoun Ha is going to have to be really precise with this. The stone already across center line. Well clear of the guard again, though. It's going to get a good healthy piece. Is it going to stick around for third shot? No, that's going to spill out of the rings. So decision time here for Team Nakamura. No hesitation at all. Misaki Tanaka will be asked to try to wrap one around the corner guard. If she could ever bury 3/4 of this in front of the tee line, the 3 is still well and truly on. Seen lots of rocks down the path in this end, so they should have a really good idea of both weight and the curl. This one's going to flirt with the guard, though. Are they by? Are they by? Are they by? Might just scrape it by. They might have even feathered going by. And did they get shot? I think they did. I think they just got it there. Didn't quite see as it went by the corner guard whether it actually grazed the corner or not. We can see Team Ha saying, yeah, the Yellowstone, that's shot rock. Some very nice brushing by Kihara and Ichinoi. Team Nakamura lying 1 and 3, we believe, at this moment. Last stone of the end coming up for Seungyoun Ha. You can see really not a lot of protection there. That's maybe a corner buried. Not sure she can get enough to it to clip off the stone at the back. But job one is to remove the shot rock and leave themselves lying 1-2 and make a double takeout really difficult and maybe get a force out of this end. Sweeping for curl. Again, they're going to catch about a third of it. Spill over on top of their own. Well, have they left a makeable double here? Nakamura thinks so. Hit it in the pocket. There is a slight risk of a jam on the stone of the back 12 foot, but you take that risk pretty happily here. Taking a little extra ice now. It will be Misaki Tanaka, the fourth stone thrower. Chance to tie the game here. Needs to catch about a quarter of either stone really to make. No, caught it a little bit thick. It will be a single point for Team Nakamura. Chance for the double takeout. Didn't quite make it. One on the board. And we head for the third end. Team Ha leads it by a score of 2-1.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
A trip to Karuizawa in the spring.
Third end of play underway. We are in Miyota, Japan, at the Miyota New Year's medalist curling competition. Seungyoun Ha holding a narrow 2-1 lead over Miori Nakamura of Japan. Guardstone off the center line. That won't bother Team Ha. They'll look to use that. Haven't seen a ton of curl here in the early going, so it's been difficult to hide stones behind cover. Sometimes that means you just have to make a bit of an adjustment and set the guards a bit higher. Maybe think about taps as opposed to come-arounds. So very usable overlapped guards now off the center line. So it's interesting. 4 foot's available on that in-turn side. Those guards, you can't really call them corner guards, but you can't really call them center guards either, because it does leave a path to the button open on this in-turn side, and Team Ha trying to duck another one around. Sujin Kim clips that front stone, keeps the rotation, and it's going to slide deep in the rings and actually finish a tiny bit as it comes to rest. Should be wide open though. This lovely little town of Miyota has really embraced this competition, this sport, and this event. It is a true community effort. I was reading some of the material from the local organizers in the lead up to the event, and there was just an absolutely lovely quote that I think really summarizes everything that this town and this competition is about. Hitting a nice inside roll there for Team Nakamura. The quote was, "From a small town to a big romance." And I thought that was just lovely. Very easy to fall in love with this sport. And it is very easy to fall in love with this lovely part of the world. Eight foot is open. Team Ha with last rock here on the third, playing the red stones. This is a bit of a setup shot. Looking to leave it high enough in the house that they keep an angle on that stone in the back ring. Would have liked that maybe another foot deeper. You can see, even though that one just feathered that guard in the top 12 foot, only hit about a third of it. So to bury behind stones looks to me like you're going to need at least 7-8 feet of distance between the stone that you're trying to come around and where you're looking your stone to come to rest. And really, you have to be perfect with your weight to get that kind of cover. So delicate shot here for Haruka Kihara. This team not as well known as some of their Japanese counterparts, but this is a very competitive team. They finished 6-2 at the Japanese championships, actually wound up in a 3-way tie with Team Fujisawa and Team Karuizawa in the round-robin phase of the Japanese championship. So this team can play. There's no doubt about that. Also recently won the Tohoku Curling Classic. So they come into this competition with some recent success. Team Ha, they've had a very good season as well. 35-21 coming into this game, win-loss. Great chance here for Tai Yang. She can never get across nose here, 3/4. Team Ha would all of a sudden be looking at a 3. Close to the guard, she's all over it. That wasn't even close, really. Flipped the front of the 2 guards that she was trying to get around to get to that yellow target rock. So a bit of relief there for Team Nakamura. That yellow stone survives, and now they're going to try to reposition it. Third end of play, 8-end game. We appreciate you joining us from wherever in the world you are joining us. We are doing some technical work, trying to get some ambient audio for you from the field of play. We know you're enjoying the pictures and enjoying the contest. It's a very good game. And this end is shaping up in a very interesting way all of a sudden. Trick is now, if you come across nose on that front yellow, double them off. Very high risk of a jam on the shot rock and the forefoot. You can't leave them there either. So you got to do something with those stones. Full team discussion here on their options. Perhaps sensing a chance that this end is shaping up as the kind of end where you could get a couple, maybe 3. Good crowd on hand here. We mentioned off the top of the show, 3-sheet rink, and they've taken one of those sheets to construct stands for fans to actually get right up close and personal. You could say it's like being on the ice, but you are actually on the ice. So it's couldn't be closer to the action than the fans here in Miyota are. Rin Kim. Took a look at playing some kind of a running shot on the front 2 guard stones, but decided against that. Trying to come right around the pile on the outturn side. Oh, great line. Just needed another couple of feet of weight. It was tracking right towards that stone in the back ring. Misaki Tanaka saying, yeah, that's high enough. And if we can see enough of it hit half, we can double them both off. And that's what she is asking Miori Nakamura to play. Nakamura the skip, but she throws third stones in this lineup. Double takeout attempt on its way. Catches it thin. It's going to jam. It is going to push that red stone in motion and will push it out of the rings. So that reduces the damage a little bit, but Team Ha still lying 1. And with that repositioning there on that angle hit, nearly fully buried. Looks like Rin Kim is going to be asked to try this outturn come around again. To get second shot, she is going to have to squeak that front guard and have absolutely dead perfect weight. If she does make, it does set up a 3. But if she's a little bit wide and a little heavy, she might leave a double takeout and give Nakamura a chance to get out of the end. Here it comes. Yang and Kim jump that one right out of hand. They think it's light. And this one's over curling. It's all over the guard. My. Leaves the guards overlapped. I guess that's the only good news for Team Ha out of that shot. Can't really run them back into the shot rock, I don't think. Tanaka, as she moves aside, gives us a good look at shot rock. Gosh, they can only see a corner. The way these stones have been running, you do wonder if this shot's even there. It does look to me like they are going to try and chase around the guard and try to dig that out. Two stones each to come. Misaki Tanaka. This was her last shot. They might be thinking about the tap, but 2 stones to come. They're deciding to risk the out-turn dig here. Just by that front stone. And just enough weight. Wow, what a terrific shot there from Misaki Tanaka. Couldn't make it any better than that. To make that shot and to push it out of the 8-foot circle. She couldn't have thrown any more weight than she threw it absolutely perfect. Squeaked the guard, pushed the red stone back into 4th shot position. Terrific shot. But even with that perfect down weight, we can see that she did leave her stone short of the center line, accessible for Team Ha, and still a chance for them to jump off that and get behind a pile of cover and still set up their 2. Not wide open. No, not wide open at all. There is a corner hidden. So Seungyoun is going to have equally excellent weight and line as Tanaka had to make this shot. Some real finesse shots being played here in the 3rd end. Seungyoun Ha trying to set up a 2. He's going to have to flirt with the guard. Oh, she grazes the guard going by. Spills out of the rings. So that pretty much locks up the force for Team Nakamura, and now you can basically have a free shot at the button. Pretty much got the force in the bag. But now you can think, man, get 1/2 around that front stone, front 8-foot. Get a piece of the front 4-foot. Now they're thinking again, they're going to come out turn side. So they're going to leave that draw to the 4-foot available and take away the path of the shot that Ha just threw. I guess the rationale is we haven't seen any rocks really bury. So if you throw one at the 4-foot, you leave it open. You feel bad if you just leave your opponent a relatively easy hit to get out of the end. Playing this shot, you're still leaving your opponent a draw to the 4-foot to get out of the end. But I guess the rationale there is that's a tougher shot than maybe an open hit if you can't bury. I'd kind of like to get this up there for 4th shot if they could, but more about the line, taking away that out turn, and they've done that, so shot choice absolutely clear now for Seungyoun Ha. It'll be the in-turn draw, and she is going to need full 8-foot and more. Drawing against 3. So it's been a very entertaining 3rd end. And now, Team Ha, great look at it from the delivery end. Facing 3, buried. Good amount of room on this intern side. So navigating between the stones shouldn't be a big problem. It's all about the weight. And she is going to need full 8 foot. And boy, oh boy, everybody's out sweeping. They think it's light. Now they're much more comfortable with it. In fact, have they overswept it? This one is going to come to the tee line. It's going to slide deep. And my goodness, the panic sweep turns into a steal of 3. There's 1, there's 2. We'll just wait for the visual at the top of the screen. Wow. Nervousness about that one being light turned into an oversweep, and it's a steal of 3. Team Nakamura puts a 3 on the board. They lead it 4-2.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
And we're back in Miyota, 4th end of play. Team Ha of Korea taking on Team Nakamura of Japan. The Japanese foursome from Aomori with a big steal of 3 in that 3rd end. Team Ha oversweeping that last stone draw attempt. And really everybody on the team was up sweeping it. They thought it was light, but once that stone reached the rings, it just glided deep and deep enough for a huge steal of 3. Big moment in the game. That's a 4-point swing, really. So Team Ha will retain last rock here in the 4th. But they'll be wondering kind of what happened, really. Had control of the end. It was really set up by a beautiful, delicate little bump takeout by Misaki Tanaka. Seungyoun Ha just couldn't follow it down. Wrecking on a guard. And then Team Nakamura decided just to guard that shot up. Leave the draw to the 8 foot. And as sometimes happens, what seems like a pretty makeable shot, if it's only off by a foot or 2, all of a sudden, bango. Steal of 3. 2 stones in the rings. Team Nakamura. Sujin Kim. Trying to get something set up short of the rings. Pretty good spot. You can do a few things with the stones there. It's covering the back stone, which means if you can come around in corner freeze, it's going to be well protected, close enough to the rings that you could angle it in, run it in later if you need to. So that's a good spot. Haruka Kihara. This team from Aomori. Now throwing really the longest of guards. Very good line, almost fully covering that stone front 8-foot. And leaving it so long that if Team Ha do try to run it back and pick off stones in the rings, pretty probable that they're going to leave a guard there themselves. So it's a good shot. Teams playing for a big check here in Miyota. It is 1 million Japanese yen. But still, it'll be a really cool looking check, won't it? Winning team coming off with a big check saying 1 million on it. For Canadian fans, that would equate to about $9,300. That's worth having. Clears off that center guard. We are experiencing a few little technical problems with our feed here. We are working away at that, so we do apologize, but thank you very much for hanging in with us while we sort the little gremlins out. Stone in the 8-foot, well protected, and Seungyoun Ha is having a longer think about this one. Tighter to the rings, so a better chance to make a play on the front stone and maybe get some action on the stones in the rings. Not really where you want to be, though. Kind of chasing runbacks like this when you got last rock. But not too many other good options, to be honest. Say Yang's the kind of person you want throwing that kind of shot. Very comfortable throwing the up weight. Clears front, but goes by everything, so a chance to stack guards now for Team Nakamura. Good look from the overhead on the kind of distance between those guards and the stones in the rings. It's about an 8-foot run. Not a gimme by any means. You can see the target line of the brush right in the middle of the rock. They're not expecting really anything in the way of curl here. Well, we'll do our best while we're getting the video sorted away just to try and keep up with the play. The attempted run back by Yang went by everything. So Team Nakamura content just to throw up guards. Now at least Team Ha has a chance for Hyren Kim to at least run her own stone in. Much better situation for Team Ha if they make. Rattles the stones around, but it leaves 3 Nakamura stones in the rings. 2 of them lined up down the center line. Nakamura with no hesitation asking Misaki Tanaka, just keep stacking those guards. Pretty happy with a force here if we get it. And we saw what happened the last end. Sometimes when you're playing a force, you make that last shot difficult. You might come away with a no-risk steal. Here is Misaki Tanaka. I like this one somewhere long and halfway. Main thing is about the line. Trying to get as much of that stone covered as they can, so they're having to sweep it deeper than they would have liked just to get that little extra bit of curl. It's kind of a bit of a teaser on that outturn side now, probably showing at least half of that stone in the front 8 foot. Not much percentage throwing at it though for Team Ha, so Seungyoun is going to try the in-turn draw. By not much percentage, I mean if she throws the hit, throws it a bit full, clips, spills away, all Team Nakamura is going to do is whip one around the guards anyways and make things maybe even worse, so better to try and zero in some draw weight now. That one, though, weight was good, but look how wide it sat. Didn't even get into shot rock position, even though it was well clear of that corner guard. So Team Ha fighting a little bit here. Locking in draw weight and locking in line in these different parts of the ice. Remember, this is the first draw. So teams are still working out the stones. And this one, oh, here's a mistake back-to-back. Tanaka wrecking on the front. So that really opens the door straight back for Team Ha. It's a chance to really put the hammer down on that shot for Team Nakamura, but by wrecking the guard, made this final stone attempt for Seungyoun Ha quite a bit easier. They've opened up quite a large path. But that's got to be a bit disconcerting for Ha. Her first stone track straight, and then you watch your opponent come down virtually the same path and watch her stone curl about 4 rocks more than yours did, crash a guard. So that puts some thoughts into your mind, especially when you threw a draw on your last shot in the last end, overswept it heavy, and gave up a steal of 3. So here comes the last shot here in end number 4 for Seungyoun Ha. It's by the guard. Now the sweeper's backing off it. This one has got skates on it, and this one is going to rocket through the rings, and it will be another steal of 2. Double check and just wait for the confirmation. Not much debate, though, from the overhead. It is another steal of 2. So Team Nakamura lead it 6-2 over Team Ha in Miyota.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
And we are back in Miyota. We've reached the halfway mark of this 8-end contest. Feature game, Miori Nakamura of Aomori, Japan, taking on Seungyoun of Korea. And we have just witnessed back-to-back multiple point steals for Team Nakamura. Seungyoun in the third end had a draw overswept. That cost them a steal of 3. And then in that fourth end, again had an in-turn draw. But we saw her sweepers back away from it as that stone hit the hog line. And that draw attempt sailed almost all the way through the rings for another steal of 2. So after trailing early in the contest, the Japanese team has taken a 6-2 lead over Team Ha from Korea. Look here at the Miyota Curling Hall. Little 3-sheeter was built as a converted warehouse in the lead up to the Nagano Olympics. That was, of course, the return of full medal sport curling to the Olympic program back in 1998. Curling fans will know that the Nagano curling competition was actually held in Karuizawa. That's about an hour away from Miyota. And in the lead up to those Nagano games, this was one of the first dedicated curling halls built in Japan. It was a real community effort and remains a community effort. So we see the teams having a conference with their coaches at the halfway point. And Team Ha, they're going to have to make some adjustments. They have really struggled here in the first half of this 8-end game. Officials now saying to the teams, okay, break time just about over. Need to return to the ice. 10 teams are playing in this competition. They're divided up into 2 pools of 5 teams. This is Group A, and this is the first draw. So it's not like you take yourself out of semifinal contention if you lose this game, but in a 4-game round robin phase, you'd be thinking to have a chance, you probably can't be any worse than 3-1. So the last thing you want to do is lose your first game. Of course, both teams are thinking that. The edge very much to the Japanese force, and now with a 4-point lead as we hit the 5th end. Halfway through this 8-end game. And the kinds of steals that they've been generating, curling coach we used to work with calls them no-risk steals. It's where you don't really have to take any chances at all. And you leave your opponent a shot that's really a shot for a force. But sometimes those shots for a force turn into steals, and that's happened back-to-back for Team Nakamura as they get this 5th end of play underway. as Team Ha realize that the game is actually on, and they come scrambling back onto the ice surface as well. Clock's running, and we can see their clock is down to, well, 12 minutes and 10 seconds, and so time clock could be a bit of a factor for Team Ha as well. That's not a great situation when you're trailing by 4, because you're typically trying to get more rocks in play, and more rocks in play usually means a little bit more thinking time. It's not mission impossible by any means for Team Ha, but this is a very important end for them. You do get the feeling that a multiple point score is pretty much essential for them to stay in the game. Miori Nakamura. Sweepers waiting patiently for that stone to get clear of the guard before they sweep it. Once again, setting the table well for Team Nakamura. 2 stones in the rings, that's what they wanted. Sujin Kim. Team Ha representing Chuncheon. Jams. Gets 2 stones in motion. Does push that 1 stone out of the rings. But Miori Nakamura content to just keep throwing stones in the rings and line them up. I think she senses that if she throws stones in the rings, based on what we've seen, Team Ha will chase them. When you're up 4, you don't mind play in the rings. That one, though, comes short of the hog line. That comes out of play. Play in the rings. And then we see that stone maybe half hidden behind the corner guard. So maybe the beginnings of something here for Team Ha. That one is just going to go right by everything. Again, we've seen this ice has been pretty straight and very weight sensitive. A little bit heavy on that chip takeout attempt, and now good chance here for Team Ha. They can get something behind that corner guard, which has been difficult this game. It's been very difficult to hide behind guards. But Sei Yang is going to have to try to do just that. Well, the stones in motion, I do thank one of our listeners for pointing out I have been getting the Playing lineup incorrect for Team Nakamura. It is, in fact, Yuna Harada playing at lead for Team Nakamura in this game, so my apologies to both Yuna and to the followers of this team. Terrific shot there from Yang. That's pretty much in position A. You couldn't really carry it down and put it in a better place than that. Angles are terrific for Team Ha. And is set up to jam all day long. Delicate shot here for Nakamura. Does get contact, but it did absolutely jam. Creates some slightly awkward angles, though, for Team Ha. You get the inside roll, you do run the risk of punching your own stone out from behind cover. Hae-rin Kim looks it over from the delivery end. Got a couple of options here. You can play the shot rock as they're choosing to do. You could also play the high stone and try to go across the top of the shot stone in the button, and maybe try to spin it across behind cover. But the more straightforward shot is to play the shot rock. You've got options either way, really. Inside roll, outside roll. Just about the only bad place is nose. That one is going to catch thin. Does, in fact, punch her own stone into the open. Does move her own stone to the back 12 foot. So they are lying second and third shot. And that was the risk. I don't think she really wanted to move her stone into the open, but that's exactly what she's done. Not sure how open that is. We'll get an idea here in a moment. I saw Misaki Tanaka play a very nice shot down this path earlier. It will be Miori Nakamura making this attempt. Just squeak the guard, and oh, she makes the double and sticks around. That's a great shot from Nakamura. That's the kind of thing that gets you out of an end. Terrific shot. Yeah, you don't want to be wise in hindsight, but that's precisely the reason I really didn't like playing the shot rock, because that risk of punching that stone into the open and making it accessible now takes Team Ha really out of the equation for a 3. Still have a chance for a 2, of course, but I think they just made their opponent's life a little bit easier than it needed to be. Hae-rin Kim trying to duck around that corner guard. It is going to graze it, though, and spill. It'll come into the rings. Potential counter. But a pretty decent amount of room for Team Nakamura to get it between the uprights as we take a look at Tae Yang. Quite a decent size hole for Tanaka to try and punch it through. Fifth end to play. Team Nakamura enjoying a 4-point lead. They would love a force here. And this one's a risk of a jam. That one over curls. Gets some action. Boy, she got away with it. Pushes it deep and just out of the rings, but boy, flirting with disaster there. Got a great result. Left them lying 3, well scattered. So the best that Team Ha is going to do is score 2 here. That would leave Team Nakamura 2 up, playing 6. Good situation. Even ends. But Team Nakamura, of course, not really happy to concede 2 here. They're still trying to get down to a force of 1 if they can. Seungyoun Ha. My goodness. Her battles with draw weight continue. I do wonder if her stones might be mismatched because this is very uncharacteristic. We've seen her heavy with her final shots, light with her first shots. And that sometimes indicates that there could be a little bit of a difference in the running surface between the 2 stones, but what I can tell you for sure, when you get results like that, it just destroys your confidence. You don't really feel like you have any kind of a confident feel for where that rock is going to go, and that's a terrible thing when you're a skip throwing 4 stones. Team Nakamura, content just to play for the force. It's a formula that's worked pretty well for them in the last 2 ends, that's for sure. So once again, Seungyoun Ha will climb into the hack, having to make a draw, facing multiple points. The last 2 attempts that she's had, the last 2 ends have both gone heavy. She's just thrown a stone 15 feet light. My goodness, what's going to happen here? Here it comes. Final stone of the 5th end is on its way. Tai Yang. Once again, this stone is gliding. I am sure those stones are mismatched because this one is going to once again glide deep and deep and deep, and this one is just, I think, going to hang around for a single point. But nearly another steal. That one goes deep into the 8-foot, but it is a single point for Team Ha. They close it up to 6-3 after 5 here in Miyota.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, Bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
And a very good morning to you, and welcome back to Miyota, Japan. We're at the World Curling Tour Japan Miyota New Year's Medalist Curling Competition. A new tradition here in Miyota. Curling competition that spans 2 years. It'll start in 2023. It'll end in 2024. We are glad that you are with us. Team Nakamura of Japan enjoying a 6-3 lead over Team Ha from Korea. Hans Raunlaub with you, and I'm glad you're along. wherever in the world you are enjoying this curling. Draw attempt going, well, as deep in the rings as it can possibly go for Yuna. But a great situation for the home team. Well, there's 8 home teams, really, if you consider teams from Japan in this 10-team competition. 2 international teams. Team Ha is one of those 2 international teams. But Team Nakamura enjoying a 3-point lead and last rock here in the 6th end of this 8-end game. First game of the round robin. 10 teams in the competition divided into 2 pools. This is Group A. First match of the Group A pool. There will be 4 draws today in Miyota. This is draw number 1. So we're glad you're with us. And if you love curling, and we know you do, stick around because there will be more action coming for you throughout the day. It is the morning in Miyota. Stone covering the pin. Very good shot. So things setting up very well for Team Nakamura here in the 6th. Center guards are up. But shot rocks belonging to the team with the hammer are right behind them. So this does have the feeling of a do or die end, really, for Team Ha. In poker parlance, this is where you have to kind of go all in, really. You tell yourself, if we're going to win this game, we're probably going to have to steal 4 ends in a row. And that is mighty tall order. If you're Team Nakamura, on the other hand, 3 up, you're thinking, really? The goal for this end is just to score. Single point, happy. So when you're trying to just score, you start clearing guards. Very close to a double clear there, but it just went by the second guard. So things setting up for Team Ha the way that they would hope. Center guard is still up, and a chance now to freeze the stone on the button and really cut down the scoring area. Tai Yang. Oh, just by the guard. Very well judged. And a very nice shot. Pushing the Nakamura stone to the back of the button. Miori taking a long look at it, trying to figure out whose shot here. But correctly surmising that the danger stone isn't the stone in the forefoot. It's actually the stone in front of the rings. You can see her calling sweeping. Visually, hand in the air. It's pretty noisy out there. We are working on the ambient audio, by the way, so we're aware that we're not hearing the sounds we normally hear off the sheet, but I can assure you it's noisy in there. You've got 2 teams playing and you have fans in the stands. So you'll see skips often using hand signals as well as their voices to call sweeping. Haerin Kim. Team Ha all out to try and steal here. Trailing by 3. And at this point, trailing by 3 without hammer, with 3 to play, you wind up kind of mentally subdividing the rest of the game into just, little segments. And really, the job is to kind of get by one end and live to fight another one. So for Team Ha, they'll be thinking, the gotta-have mission in this end is to steal a point. They won't be thinking any further than that. Miori Nakamura, the skip, throwing at third stone, clears that guard. Really not certain who shot rock here. It's pretty close between red and yellow, both biting the button. Seungyoun Ha is asking Heirin to throw another guard. This one coming much tighter to the rings. Well, kind of a tempting little sucker play between the two guards. You can see the stone at the top of the forefoot. It's kind of tempting to make a play on it, but all kinds of danger between those guards. Three stones to come. I think Team Ha would be very happy if Team Nakamura decided they did want to come down, try to make a play between those guard stones. And this will be where well-coached teams will be reminding each other, what were we trying to do when this end started? And I can almost guarantee that the conversation at the beginning of the end was, whatever we do, let's just make sure we score. The last thing you want to do with 3 rocks to play is get suckered into chasing stuff and increase the risk of a multiple point steal. So even though they're looking at the stones in the rings, I'm not sure that the best play isn't making a run on the center guard. And are they going to call timeout? It appears that they are. Even if you ran the reds onto the reds and you jam your own at the back of the button, you at least open up the scoring area. Increase the chance of you getting 2. I'm not sure what drawing in front of the reds would do for them. Team Ha is certainly making them think about this one. Decent amount of time left on the time clock for Team Nakamura. And I'm not 100% certain, but I do think they've called timeout. The guards are just outside of camera shot. There is the tiniest port to get to that stone that's in the front of the 4-foot circle, but oh boy, looks like they're going to have a go at it. It's one of these shots that if you try it and you make it, it's heroic, but if you try it and you miss, you could be in a world of hurt. There we see it is in fact timeout. So thinking time stopped, and we can see they've got 12 minutes left on their time clock, so no time concerns whatsoever for Team Nakamura. Does look they're going to try to run through this tiny little port on the outturn side, and the way that the guards are staggered makes this a really difficult shot. Here it comes. And just winds up straight clearing the red. So perhaps that was the call all along, maybe not trying to get through the port, just running the guard, which is fine. Now a timeout's going to be called by Team Ha. I do think in that situation, though, if you're just going to clear the guard, you're pretty much inviting your opponent just to throw another one up. I'm not sure that I wouldn't have tried to run the guard and also rattle the stones in the front forefoot in the process, but that's gone now. Center guard is off. There is a guard just off center, high, impeding the path on the outturn side. Big question, of course, who shot rock? Is it yellow? Is it red? Are we protecting a steal, or do we still have to move that red stone to make sure that we do steal a point? Another look at the clear attempt. Straight clear, no problem there. But the two red stones are still representing big danger for Team Nakamura. If Seungyoun could ever just tap, tap, pop, she could leave Team Nakamura looking at 3. That would really turn about the situation that we saw earlier in the game. And now Team Ha on the timeout looking at their options. And they'll be reminding themselves of, okay, what was the plan here, gang? Well, the plan here is we got to steal this end. So first job, make a shot choice that increases the chance to the maximum that we're going to steal the end. Not sure what they've settled on here. You could promote red onto yellow and leave yourself lying 3, but with that broom position, looks to me like they're looking at a corner freeze on their front stone to angle it onto the stone in the back of the button. Terrific, terrific shot if you can make it. I do like the call. When you're down 3, you need to accept a little bit more risk. We talked about the plan for how you're going to win this game from here. Stealing 4 consecutive ends? Really unlikely. But if you could steal a 2 here, or heck, even steal a 3 here, whole new ball game. So if you're going to steal multiple points, this is the kind of shot choice you need to make. Then not only do you need to make the shot choice, you need to execute it perfectly. Seungyoun has really struggled with her draw weight, particularly on her first stone of the end. And this stone over curling just slightly, so close to excellent. And that is the risk you take when you're trying these higher risk precision shots. Definitely a chance here for Team Nakamura to double 2 of the red stones off. Thing is, the stone to the left of the 2 front stones in the forefoot is probably going to redirect the stone on the center line if they choose to hit that. So there is some risk of some caroms and some weird things happening. Take a look at this attempted freeze from Seungyoun Ha. No doubt about who shot rock right now. It is definitely Team Ha. So a couple of ways you can play this. We can see that Miori is looking for contact just off nose on the brush side, thinking that they can punch it past the stone in the front forefoot, pick off the red, make a double takeout that way. Big shot coming up here for Misaki Tanaka. Ideally looking to move at least 2 stones. Boy, she's thrown a ton. Trying to rattle them around. Sweeper's trying to catch it. Well, she winds up jamming her own. Pushes red out of the rings, leaves red lying 2. So the plan is working so far for Team Ha. Now, where do you put it? And I think that's exactly where you put it. Set up a potential multiple point steal Well, this is a very interesting sixth end. Can't help going back to some of those clearing choices made earlier in the end by Team Nakamura. Those stones in the front forefoot were always going to be threatening for them, and they never really made an attempt to try to run in a clearing attempt to move them in any way. The net result, if Ha can get the stone right where that brush is, it's going to be a very difficult final shot for Misaki Tanaka. So after struggling most of the game with her draw weight, great chance here for Seungyoun Ha. If she can get this stone in a great place to really apply the pressure to Team Nakamura. Double takeout attempt. It's just a little bit wide. And that's really opening the door here for Team Ha to leave themselves lying 3 buried. When you're having to steal your way to victory, you really couldn't put yourself into a much better position than this if you can make. We do apologize for the occasional technical difficulties here. We are getting some video lag. So on this important shot from Seungyoun Ha, I'm afraid we're just going to have to wait a moment for the video lag to catch up. And there we see that stone coming to rest. Front forefoot. So it's a bit of a let-off, I think, for Team Nakamura. But now we see the final result. It does appear that the final result is a steal of 2. So again, apologies for the video difficulty. We'll just wait for confirmation of the score on that end as we head for the 7th end at the Miyota New Year's Medalist Curling. Team Nakamura leading Team Ha of Korea.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Hello again. Konnichiwa from Miyota. The Miyota New Year's medalist curling competition. Hans Frauenlob here with you. And we've got ourselves a whole new game. Seungyoun Ha with a steal of 2 in the 6th end. So we talked about when you're trailing by 3, the 3 to play, you're dividing the game into little segments. Well, the first segment went absolutely perfectly for Team Ha. Steal of 2, and that changes the picture a lot. Now you know you don't have to steal 4 consecutive ends to win the game. Now you can even think about playing for a force here, going all out for 3 in the 8th and win it in regulation. So huge multiple point steal in an even end. Seungyoun Ha has put a whole new complexion on this game. Yuna Harada. Haruka Kihara, actually. Get ourselves caught up with where we are in the end. Will not be panic time at all for Team Nakamura. They still got last rock. You're still 1 up. So you just remind yourself of that. You sure as heck didn't want to give up a steal of 2. That's for sure. But saying that, you know you've got last rock here. You tell yourself, all right, we don't have the even ends, but we score a pair here. 3 up coming home without. You're feeling pretty good about life. Freeze attempt here from Tsai Yang. Comes to rest top of the 8-foot. So you do get the sense that Team Nakamura is going to try to play this end a little bit more straightforward up and down. They'll know in the back of their minds, a force is not great. So they'll still be trying to press for a 2 here. Very nice hit and inside roll by Haruka Kihara. And look at that. 3 stones all having some kind of protection behind that center guard. Very nicely played.
大きな声が出ている。石も隠れて、そして後ろのナンバーワンも隠すような、そんな石になりました。
So the equation doesn't really change too much for Seungyoun Ha.
後攻ではありますが、中に石を置いていい形を作ってきてい
You
る
do know that dropping a 2 here is
状況になっています。
not a good situation. Taking a look at that hit and roll by Kihara. We'll do a very good spot.
そして後ろの石も隠すというような一投でした。
So for Team Ha,
さあ、ただ韓国チームはさらに
you can
追
live
加
with
点
a
狙わ
force.
なきゃいけませんので、
You can't live with a multiple point in.
有料では
You're going to have to try to reposition stones a little bit
壁
here.
を1回開けに
You're
行
going
っ
to
て、
take on some risk, of course.
ナイスショットです。これはナイスショットです。
動かしました。
はい、
Pretty decent shot there from Tsai Yang.
はい。
中心部につけ
Opens
や
a
すい
path
コ
to
ー
the
スを
shot
ちょっと
rock.
開けると。
やはりナンバーワンが T ラインの少し奥というのもあるんですよね。
It's tempting to chase the red stone, but I do think the red stone is fourth shot, so they are going to come down and talk about that.
はい。
というところですね。
Haruka Kihara
今チャット欄の
comes
方
up
で
to
は
say,
ね、
do we really
見て
have
み
to
る
hit
と
the red
氷
stone?
につい
I
て
don't think
ア
they
イスに
do.
ついて
確かになってますね。
出てますけど、
Now they are going back to
皆さ
that
んも
shot.
見ていただいてわかると思いますけど、氷が結構曲がってはいるんで、
はい。
I don't
また
love
昨年
this
の大会
shot.
よりかなりバージョンアップしてますのでね、この大会。そこ
We
も
see
含
the
めて
result of that
楽しんでいただけれ
repositioning
ばなと。
stone from Yang.
アイスメーカーの努力が半端ないってことか。
You don't make a great roll, you're just inviting your opponent to freeze on the shot rock.
努力があって、曲がる氷になっている。その中で選手たちゲームを行っているという状況です。
And that could be the way that they set up the force, and maybe even get a steal.
そしてもう300人以上の方が今見
It's
てい
hard
る
to say what you'd actually
す
prefer.
ごいですね。ありがとうございます。
The 5 rock rule has changed the equation a little bit now about how you think about closing out games. Many teams prefer to be
6対2、4点リ
two
ードした
down
広島
with
青
last
森
rock
韓国チーム
and
チーム
being
派が
tied up
追いかけて今
without
6対
last
5ま
rock
で来
playing
て
the
います
final
第7
end.
エンドです
Recognizing that it's actually easier to score 3 with hammer than it is to steal an end. So there's the nose hit. So that does invite that shot. Team Ha decide to play it now, which they don't. They'll save that for later in the end. So they're not going to try to freeze shot. They are going to try to hit the stone on the right hand of our picture as we're looking at it. Roland Chan in front of the 4-foot.
韓国の今の作戦の狙いとしては、
Really tough to make really precise hit and
青
rolls.
森が弾いたストーン、止まったストーンを
Seems
使
nice
っ
running
て
pretty
ヒットアン
straight
ドロール
when the weight comes up.
考えてますかね。
さっきの一
Look
投
at that previous shot attempt.
ヒットステイのような一投でした
Stone on its way for Haerin Kim.
キム・ヘリンの一投目です
Looking for a roll somewhere in the front of the 4-foot. Sitting on an awkward angle.
当たって
Nakamura, there's the hit.
ロールは少
There's
しだ
the
け
roll. Needed it to roll another
ナンバーワン
foot
に
and a
近づくよう
half,
な
I
ところには
think.
行きませんでした
Should be accessible for Nakamura to make a pass at it without
10
jamming.
半11、この辺の
Although this is one of these situations you don't want to, you never want to jam, of course.
数字が小さくなるにつれて速いストーンっていう意
But
味です。
I wouldn't be terribly upset if I clip the stone off the button going by, left myself line 3, take away the freeze in the process. I'm never planning that as shot A, but it's nice to have that in the back of your mind as a shot option.
その後がどうか
This one's over curling a little bit.
ナイスショット。
Does come to rest
この5
protecting
番の
that
セン
shot
ターを
rock.
抑えられると韓国
Still a
はすごく嫌
chance
だ
for
と思い
Team
ます
Ha to wedge one in there on
こ
the
こ
last one
は
if they
相手い
need
てほしか
to.
ったというところですね、韓国チームにとっては
A little laugh of nervous relief
投
there
げた石はロールして
from Nakamura.
いい位置に置けてました
They're lying 4.
韓国チーム
At this point of the game,
は
really,
ナンバー4
you know,
の
if your team
石か
Ha,
らの先を見ていま
thinking
した
anything more than
先
one
ほどの一投
is bad for us, so it doesn't really matter if it's 2, 3, or 4.
しっかりいいところに置いています
Any multiple is going to be pretty close to fatal. You'll still need to give yourself some kind of a shot to try and set up that steal or at least set up the force. Right now, you've got no path to the shot rock, so you need to do something
当ててナンバーワン
as a setup shot.
ということでしょう
Let's
ね
see。what that something is going to be for Haerin Kim.
ハウス右手側からですこのエンドはあまりこちら側使っていませんでした
Tai Yang
Minor guard
on the
当たります
inside sweep trying to hold the line. That is going to crash the center guard. My.
センターにあったガードがなくなりました
Disastrous for
ガード
Team
はこれ
Ha.
ゼロ
This is one of these situations where you think, where can I throw it to make it better? Not many places. Things are set up very, very advantageously right now for Team Nakamura. I know this sounds silly. You know, this is one of these situations where you'd be asking yourself, what if I just threw it into the hack? What do they do?
今言いましたね
ミッキーって
Can I make things better than they are right now by throwing anything? And I'll be honest, folks, I really don't see many
そう
places
なん
that
です
they
ちょっ
can
と僕今分かんなかったですけど、
山口さんはそのミッ
help
キーを聞いて
themselves.
低く見入れてましたから
They've talked about freezing the pocket in the front two stones.
耳の位置
My
という
worry
そう
would
いう
be
こと
if
で
you
す
throw
よ
it
ね
there, all you're doing is really creating a little overlap.
どこが
どれがどうミッキー
Somehow,
ところはあるんですけど
気になりますよねこれは
Seungyoun
も
can
う
get one into the button area. You might just take away your short run back in the
ちょっと見せてもら
process.
いたいですね。はい。
Well, the shot choice is made and it's on its way. Working this one hard. They do not want to leave it short of the rings. That is for certain. It's going to overcurl slightly and just bump their own stone forward an inch. It's not terrible, actually. Does line up yellow, yellow straight back into the button area, so no matter what Seungyoun does on this shot, there's going to be an almost automatic run back to pick it off. She goes there. Yellow, yellow, bang, bang. Pick it off. So the way that those stones are staggered now, don't leave very many good options at all. Seungyoun Ha. Playing that stone, I think this is a better call. Not sure I'd blast on this stone though, but you certainly do need to move them and give yourself some kind of a path. Get that stone off the button if you can. That's going to overcurl. Does create a little bit of a pocket, but there doesn't appear to me to be an easy red run back that could leave lying one after her last shot. So again, it's one of these situations where if you're Team Nakamura, you're asking yourself, what am I happy with here? What do we not want to leave her? Let's say what you not want to leave her is a draw into the button. Leave her the red run back. That's fine. If she makes a miracle shot, we're probably still lying one. But if you leave her that draw around the guards and into the button area, you could give up a steal, and that's absolutely unacceptable. So I think this is a good choice. It's been a back and forth kind of game. Team Ha broke on top, stole two in the first end. But there have been steals aplenty in this game. You're going to see one more here in the seventh end. Guard stone on its way. Misaki Tanaka. This one might be overcurling a fraction. Yeah, it absolutely is. So that does not guard the intended shot. So this will be a draw to the button attempt for Seungyoun Ha.
左から回り込んできて、ナンバーワンちょっと取れるかどうかわかんないですけども、ナンバー2まで
This is the classic must make. They're all must makes really when you're scrambling from behind the way that Team Ha are. This is the opportunity that you were hoping for. You can somehow wedge it in. 3/4 button. Very high probability that you're going to steal. Here it comes.
こっちサイドはねかなり苦戦してますからね。
切れるかどうかハスヨン。
Game on the line for Team Ha.
まだ王のコール。
Brusher's not laying a brush to it yet. Heavy is fatal. And this one is going to skate to the back of the 8-foot, so that is at least a 3. And I wonder if that might just be handshake time. Will they even bother throwing their final stone? Yes, they will. Counting 4, actually. But that is effectively game over. Had to try it. Had to try to get one into the button area. Once again, fighting draw weight. That final stone. We've seen that often in this match. Seungyoun's final stone just gliding that little bit further than her first rock. Once again bit her. And now, I'm sure is going to be the final stone of this match on its way. Misaki Tanaka. Need to put a 5 on the board and maybe an exclamation point is going to come up short. but it is
ただ
4,
4点、
and it
ここで
will be a concession. So, Team
試合が終
Nakamura
わりました。第
in a
7
back
エ
and
ンド
forth
で
game,
広重
valiant
青森が
fight back
4
from
点を
Team
取りま
Ha.
して、結果
But
と
with
して
a
は
4 on the
10
board,
対5と
that will make
い
the
う点
final
差に
score
なりました。10対5でゲーム終了です。第1試合 C と B チーム
My
ハ
gosh.
対チーム中村
So,
韓
first
国チー
game
ム
in the
と
books at the
広島
Miyota
青
New
森の対
Year's
戦は
medalist
広島
curling.
青
It
森
was an
が
exciting
勝
one,
利しました
and we're going to have 3 more draws for you here today. So
いや、すごい
please join us again
そうです
later
ね、は
on
い、かなり
for more
ビッ
curling
グエン
from
ドが多か
Miyota.
ったような形になりました。
Once again, our
あ
final
とは
score.
スチールも多かったと。
Miyota
スチールも多
Nakamura
かったですね。
10,
複数点のスチールですからね。
Seungyoun
そうですね、
Ha
複数のス
5.
チールが両チーム2回ずつ。
That'll do it for this draw from
最
Miyota.
後は韓国チーム
Thank
形
you
を
so
作れ
much
ず
for
に
joining us and join us again
青森がビッグ
later
エンド
on
4
today
点を取っ
for
て
more
初戦
curling
勝利という
from
ことにな
Miyota,
りました。
Japan.
いやー、青森にとってもこれは大きい。
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.